Hemp. Hemp. Young hemp, an appellation for a graceless boy. Hempen fever. A man who was hanged is said to have died of a hempen fever, and in Dorsetshire to have been stabbed with a Bridport dagger, Bridport being a place famous for manufacturing hemp into cords. Hempen widow, one whose husband was hanged. Hen-hearted, cowardly. Hen-house, a house where the woman rules. Called also a she-house, a hen frigate, the latter a sea phrase, originally applied to a ship, the captain of which had his wife on board, supposed to command him. Henpecked, a husband governed by his wife, is said to be henpecked. Hen, a woman, a cock, and hen club, a club composed of men and women. Herein, therein, one who has no settled place of residence. Herring, the devil, a barrel, the better herring, all equally bad. Herring gutted. Fin, as a shotten herring. Herring pond, the sea, to cross the herring pond at the king's expense, to be transported. Hertfordshire kindness, drinking twice to the same person. Hick, a country hick, an ignorant clown cunt. Hickenbotham, Mr. Hickenbotham, a ludicrous name for an unknown person, similar to Mr. Fingerbob. Hickenbotham, i.e. a corruption of the German word Ickenbaum, i.e. oak tree. Hickey, tipsy, queasy, hiccuping. Hide and seek, a childish game. He plays at hide and seek, a saying one who is in fear of being arrested for debt or apprehended for some crime and therefore does not choose to appear in public, but secretly skulks up and down, see skulk. Hidebound, stingy, hard of deliver, a poet poor in invention is said to have a hidebound muse. Higgledy-piggledy, confusedly mixed. High-eating, to eat skylarks in a garret. High-flyers, Tories, Jacobites. High-jinks, a gambler at dice, who having a strong head drinks to intoxicate his adversary or pigeon. High-living, to lodge in a garret or cockloft. High-pad, a highwayman cunt. High ropes, to be on the high ropes, to be in a passion. High shoon or clouted shoon, a country clown. High water, it is high water with him, he is full of money. Highgate, sworn at Highgate, a ridiculous custom formerly prevailed at the public houses in Highgate to administer a ludicrous oath. To all travellers of the middling rank who stopped there, the party was sworn on a pair of horns, fastened on a stick. The substance of the oath was never to kiss the maid when he could kiss the mistress, never to drink small beer when he could get strong, and with many other injunctions of the like kind, to all which was added the saving cause of unless you like it best. The person administering the oath was always to be called father by the juror, and he in return was to style him son under the penalty of a bottle. Hike, to hike off, to run away cunt. Hind leg, to kick out a hind leg, to make a rustic bow. Hinny, my honey, a north country hinny, particularly a Northumbrian in that county. Hinny, the general term of endearment. History of the Four Kings, or Child's Best Guide to the Gallows. A pack of cards, he studies the history of the Four Kings assiduously. He plays much at cards, hoaxing, bantering, ridiculing, hoaxing a quiz, joking an odd fellow, university wit. Hob or hobbenol, a clown. Hob or nob, will you hob or nob with me? A question formerly in fashion at polite tables, signifying a request or challenge to drink a glass of wine with the proposer. If the party challenged and answered nob, they were to choose whether white or red. This foolish custom is said to have originated in the days of the good Queen, Bess. Thus, when great chimneys were in fashion, there was at each corner of the hearth or grate a small elevated projection called the hob, and behind it a seat. In winter time the beer was placed on the hob to warm, and the cold beer was set on a small table, said to have been called the nob, so that the question, will you have hob or nob, seems only to have meant, will you have warm or cold beer, i.e. beer from the hob or beer from the nob. Hobbadio, half a man and half a boy, a lad between both. Hobbled, impeded, interrupted, puzzled, to hobble, to walk lamely. Hobbledegy, a pace between a walk and a run, a dog trot. Hobby. Hobby, Sir Posthumous's hobby, once nice or whimsical in his clothes. Hobby horse, a man's favourite amusement or study, is called his hobby horse. It also means a particular kind of small Irish horse, and also a wooden one, such as is given to children. Hobby horsicle, a man who is a great keeper or rider of hobby horses, one that is apt to be strongly attached to his systems of amusement. Hobnail, a country clodhopper from the shoes of country farmers and ploughmen, being commonly stuck full of hobnails and even often clouted or tipped with iron. The devil ran over his face with hobnails in his shoes, said of one pitted with the smallpox. Hobson's choice, that or none. From old Hobson, a famous carrier of Cambridge, who used to let horses to the students, but never permitted them to choose, always allotting each man the horse he thought properest for his manner of riding and treatment. Hocks, vulgar appellation for the feet. You have left the marks of your dirty hocks on my clean stairs, a frequent complaint from a mop squeezer to a footman. Hockey, drunk with strong stale beer, called Old Hock, see Hickey. Hocking or hoeing, a piece of cruelty practised by the butchers of Dublin on soldiers by cutting the tendon of Achilles. This has been by law made felony. Hocus pocus, nonsensical words used by jugglers previous to their deceptions as a kind of charm or incantation. A celebrated writer supposed to it be ludicrous corruption of the words hoc est corpus used by the popish priests. Consecrating the host, also hell hocus, is used to express drunkenness, as he is quite hocus, he is quite drunk. Hod, brother Hod, a familiar name for a bricklayer's labourer, from the hod which used to carry bricks and mortar. Hoddy doddy, all arse and no body, a short, clumsy person, either male or female. Hodge, an abbreviation of Roger, a general name for a country booby. Hodgepodge, an irregular mixture of numerous things. Hog, man, dods, snails in their shells. Hog, a shilling. To drive by one's hogs, to snore, the noise made by some persons in snoring being not much unlike the notes of that animal. He has brought his hogs to a fine market, a saying of anyone who has been remarkably successful in his affairs, and is spoken ironically to signify the contrary. A hog in armour, an awkward or mean looking man or woman finely dressed, is said to look like a hog in armour. A hog, to hog a horse's mane, to cut it short, so that the ends of the hair stick up like hog's bristles. Jonian hogs, an appellation given to the members of St. John's College, Cambridge. Hog grubber, a mean, stingy fellow. Hoggish, rude, unmannerly, filthy. Hogo, corruption of hort, goust, high taste or flavour, commonly said to of flesh somewhat tainted. It has a confounded hogo. It stinks confoundedly. Hoist, to go upon the hoist to get into windows accidentally left open. This is but done by the assistance of a confederate called the hoist, who leans his head against the wall, making his back a kind of step or ascent. Hoisting, a ludicrous ceremony formerly performed on every soldier. It's fucking back again. Don't show this again. Didn't I click that before? Anyway, a ludicrous ceremony formerly performed on every soldier the first time he appeared in the field after being married. He has thus managed, as soon as the regiment or company had grounded their arms, to rest a while. 3 or 4 men of the same company to which the bridegroom belonged seized upon him, and putting a couple of bayonets out of the 2 corners of his hat, to represent horns, it was placed on his head, the back part foremost. He was then hoisted on the shoulders of 2 strong fellows, and carried round the arms, a drum and fife beating and playing the pioneer's call, named Roundheads and Cuckolds, but on this occasion style the Cuckolds march in passing the colours. He was to take off his hat. This, in some regiments, was practised by officers on their brethren. Hoisting among pickpockets is setting a man on his head, that his money, watch, etc. may fall out of his pockets. These they pick up and hold to be no robbery. See reversed. Hoity-toity, a hoity-toity wench, a giddy, thoughtless, romping girl. Holborn Hill, a ride backwards up Holborn Hill to the gallows, the way to Tyburn, the place of execution for criminals condemned in London, was up that hill. Criminals going to suffer always ride backwards, as some conceive, to increase their ignominy, but more probably to prevent them being shocked with a distant view of the gallows, as in amputations surgeons conceal the instruments with which they are going to operate. The last execution at Tyburn, and consequently of this procession, was in the year 1784, since which the criminals have been executed near Newgate. Holiday. A holiday bowler, a bad bowler, blind man's holiday, darkness, night, a holiday in any part of a ship's bottom, left uncovered in paying it, sea term, it is all holiday, see all holiday.